Alrighty YouTube, welcome back to Turboners. Welcome back to Rat 10. Last time progress was maybe a little bit lackluster, but a big needed point because, oh my god, the engine bay is so clean now. We went through, redid most of the wiring harness, oh actually all of the wiring harness, that's a lie. Loomed it all up back to the firewall, hooked most of it up, tied it. It looks disgusting, but it looks better than it did. It'll get addressed eventually. I just have to, tie things a little better and whatnot, and apparently hook up some cables that haven't been hooked up yet. But it's good news because now that the engine bay is more or less finished, tied up at least, that and the rear end under the flap also being somewhat done and taken care of, it's time to move into the interior. Back into the interior? I haven't really done much in there, but there's something big I want to show you. Check these out. Well, not directly the first thing I'm going to be addressing inside of the interior just yet. This is the first time I'm officially revealing it to YouTube, the selection of seats I'm using in Rat 10. If you follow me on TikTok and Instagram, you've probably already seen these, but this is the first time YouTube gets to see it. These are a set of NRG Prisma Ultra in the Mexicali color combo. These look A, hilarious, and B, awesome, especially combined with the shipbox style look of everything. And for me personally, I actually had a Mexi themed blanket on the original bench seat that I had in Rat 10, so this is kind of a big throwback to me. I originally bought these for a different truck that I plan on building, which is another rig cab short box S10 that I'm going to turn into a drift truck. And I had just bought one of them, thinking I was going to use one because it was just going to be a track truck. That is still going to happen. The drift truck build will happen, but I accidentally threw one of the seats into Rat 10, and that's where it all ended because I realized the seat looked so good inside of here that I had to fork over another $630 to get another one. Yes, these are like $630 a piece. My wallet is screaming. But apart from the off-kilter seat over there because it's not actually sitting on anything flat, these look incredible. I am so happy with the way these are gonna look. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get to mounting these in this video, but I can at least show you how they're gonna look with me in it. Now, I am about 5'11", 230 pounds. Jeez, this is gonna sound really sponsored, even though I forked over all my own cash for these. NRG sponsored me. But for me, this is, I think, the medium-sized seat they have. They have a large that's one size up. And I mean, my chunky donkey fits in them pretty good. There's not a lot of side-to-side movement. The side bolsters could be a little bigger, but they're comfy. For a fixed back seat, they are actually very comfy. They're short as well, which S10s have a problem with. The floor gets a little too high. I like to call it a 4x floor. They're meant to have a transfer case under there in some models, obviously. So these, on some shallow little brackets, will give me absolutely loads of headroom. Actually, I gotta move them forward yet because I'm straight-legging the pedals by a lot. And the big kicker, I am fat enough that a factory seatbelt will hold me in this with no issues. That's gonna be a big win because I don't want to put a harness bar in this thing yet. I'd like to cage it, which is for future plans because I'm too broke to afford a cage and I'm not building one myself yet. I'm in love. These are so good. The shifter, I'll be a little further forward yet. The shifter actually might be pretty good because it's a tall boy. But we're gonna do something ratty with that eventually, don't worry. Speaking of the shifter, that is where I'd actually like to start today's video, because over here, underneath this green towel, if you've been subscribed to my channel long enough to see it when I pulled the ZF6 out of the C4 Corvette, I have the original shifter. But the main body has been broken into two pieces. How? I don't know. Why? Probably junk manufacturing or whoever owned the car before me. Regardless, I need to attach it back together to put it in the truck in order to use it. It's gonna be fun because if you weren't aware, aluminum welding isn't my strong suit. I say that when things like this exist because this was all done by me. It's by no means pretty. It's kind of ugly. I think every side was done in 2 passes, but this was after about 20 hours worth of straight TIG welding practice. And this holds water. That's as good as I ever got. And then I never touched aluminum again, and it's been over a year. Hence that one bracket I welded in the accessory video that went absolutely terribly. And this piece of aluminum being cast, and probably shitty cast, but hey, we're gonna give it our best shot. Before I get into welding the shifter though, I would like to take a sec to just go through some aluminum welding practice, so at least have a little bit of trial and error before I go and maybe destroy that shifter. And who knows, maybe watching me weld aluminum will be somewhat entertaining. I need a better setup for doing TIG still. Oh, that is cooking, Batman. Okay, 15. I'll go over my exact setup for aluminum here very briefly, if anyone cares, because lots of people's setups are completely different. Torch is a Magnum torch, PTA 17. It doesn't really mean anything to me, it's just the only torch I've ever owned. I'm gonna start with a 332 collet and diffuser. And I'm starting with 332 because it's the only tungsten I have in pure, because pure is the tungsten that most people start welding aluminum with. I have personally went to something different, but I'm going to run it for just a little bit here, just for fun purposes, and why the hell not? Cup size, I use a number 6, keep it nice and small and focused. And then, like I said it up with 15 CFH of gas flow of pure argon. Stick out no more than the diameter of your cup. I have the welder set to 125 amps, that's on foot pedal control. I have a little dial on the side here for AC balance. I try to keep it around an 80-20 or a 75-25 mix of negative, positive, respectively. That's kind of just by hopes and prayers, because I just have a dial on here. Trying to tell your ratio is kind of hard, and it does have the auto setting, but I've never really liked it. So I kind of just leave it right near the end, and it does pretty good. It's got pulse as well, but I don't ever use that for AC. It'll tell you how many pulses you're doing with this little light here. It's pretty fancy. I might have to go over my welder completely in a different video. And then post flow, I add just a teeny little bit. Now, from personal experience, I tend not to even clean any of the aluminum parts that I'm using, because I've found the more cleaning I do, the worse it turns out. It might be completely against what anyone tells you to do. Most people say you need to wipe it with acetone, brush it with a stainless brush, this, that, and everything under the sun. I have never had success trying it. We will start just like this, see if I still got it. I'm gonna do one without cleaning everything, and I'll do one with cleaning everything. And then I have 1/16 filler and 332 as well, just for funsies. Now this is the exact way that I and most people start welding aluminum, is with pure tungsten. Maybe not a 332, that's actually kind of big. As I mentioned, I don't weld with this setup anymore, but just for comparison's sake, I'm gonna start with it, and we'll move into the way that I actually weld. And actually, you know what? Let's do this. We'll clean half of this guy. And of course, I am not a welder. Anything that I say should be taken with the biggest grain of salt, because all of this is self-taught. I also don't have any acetone. The next best thing I have is xylene, which maybe that's part of my cleaning problem too. I don't know. But we will wait until we run a couple beads on the untouched stuff. We'll see how we go. I don't like pure tungsten. I've never tried 1/16 pure tungsten. I only have 332, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Maybe that'll change now that I have a little bit more welding experience, but we'll see. Could have ran that one a little longer. To be honest with you, for the first one I've done in a while, that's not so bad. Let's see if we can get a longer one. My feeding is also very terrible. I need to learn to do this a lot better. Yeah, my finger feeding is still needing some work. For now, I'll just stick to the shuffle, dab, 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 shuffle. My filler also likes to do this. I've never been able to figure it out, where it just kind of globs up on the end. I think that's just personal error. Hey, that was a pretty consistent bead. Look at that. That was the third one in the middle there. Ow, that's hot. I'm gonna need a set of pliers for this. Ow. Okay, let's do some with a 332 filler. Not that it changes anything, it just changes the size of your dabs. Actually, it looks about the same as my 1/16 pass. Also, maybe this is weird to some people. I am a left-handed torch holder, and I feed with my right hand. That's just been more comfortable for me. I know a lot of people torch with their right and feed with their left. And to be honest, I think I can do both. This, the heat of the metal in my welding skill is starting to show here. Granted, that was also done with my opposite hand, but that last one, how wide that puddle was, this piece of aluminum was probably a little hot compared to the very first one I did, which is teeny weeny. So that was my fault more than anything. Overall, I'm actually not too embarrassed to show those welds. I don't know how they look on camera. Yeah, that's not so bad. That was the first one with 1/16. Second one, and I think these two were both 332 filler. Just more metal. And that was with unprepped surface. That was just straight out of my toolbox over there. Now let's try on the cleaned surface with some wipe down. Give my filler just a quick clean with a new scour pad. Ooh, squeaky. Interesting. Okay. That should warrant a tungsten change too, but again, I don't care. I'm gonna try to put this on auto and see what it does. Mess with it a little bit, and I didn't like it. And honestly, I don't really notice a difference. Versus if I have this on the cleaning part, which should be a whole ton of electrode positive, it's gonna make a whole bunch of funky noise here. And then we'll go on the penetration side of that scale. Those last two will have a very big difference, I'll show you. Not that any of this information is really relevant to what I'm doing anyways, but it's practice. Difference between the clean side and the unprepped side, there isn't really a lot that I can see. Most of my starts have a little bit of black stuff at the beginning. I've never figured out how to eliminate that entirely. And then those last two I did, this one was set to complete cleaning. You can see that there's the bead and then there's that extra little bit of different looking metal. That's the AC balance cleaning the oxide layer off your aluminum. And then this one, which was full penetration, had almost none. So there's aluminum welding in a nutshell. I'm now gonna change to my preferred tungsten and see how that goes. I'm gonna change to a 2% serrated. This one I found, you can see in some of my used tungstens here, it keeps the point a lot tighter. Pure tungsten, you can see, has a very round profile once you start using it. It does give you better control is what they tell you, but I just find the arc is far, far too wide. Again, maybe that's my own fault using 332 tungsten and not 1/16. Maybe 1/16's better. I haven't bought any yet. Maybe I'll be converted. So we'll take a new 332 serrated tungsten. I mean, overall, maybe now that I've been welding a bit more, I don't really notice much of a difference. But you can see after just a couple passes, this tungsten has stayed much sharper, which I personally like. So let's go down to 1/16 because 332 is honestly excessive. I apologize if I sound a little dead for any of this. I slept like garbage and I'm just trying to stay awake right now. We're dropping down to a 1, hello. 1/16 serrated tungsten, which is my favorite way to weld aluminum. Same aluminum, same filler rod, same settings. Yeehaw. Not that 1/16 tungsten really makes a difference. I find it just keeps tighter arc control. I think it's kind of redundant at a certain point because that was 332 serrated, these two, and then these were both 1/16. My welds are all over the place because my hands are incredibly shaky. I don't have steady hands. But I mean, for someone who's really never welded aluminum and is self-taught, I don't know, that's not that bad. I think I'm happy with my aluminum capabilities, and I think I'm ready to go weld that shifter. So let's jump right into that. Practice session successful. Starting with a chemical shower. I don't really need to clean the whole thing, but we're gonna clean the whole thing. Just need to get into the cast part that's been broken. I'm thinking that should be good. Let's go give it our best shot. So far, the first tack looked ugly. I did get a couple dabs on that before my GoPro died. It's running a little cold, so I'm gonna try to crank it up a bit. All things considered, aside from the blackness, ooh, that's hot. That's hot too. It's actually not terrible. Like, I hit that with a brush, it probably wouldn't look that bad. And that was actually the biggest part of this thing to weld. Wow, welding cast is brutal, dude. This is whack. This is weird, man. I guess, you know, the only way to learn is to just get uncomfortable in a situation like this. And this is teaching me a lot. Mainly that cast metal sucks. Because I guarantee you, I go right back to that plate of aluminum, I'll be able to do a perfect bead. As much as I'm bitching about it, that bead isn't that bad. I'm not happy with it. I'd like to see my nice row of shiny dimes, but it's back together. Taking that as a win, I'm not grinding the welds because I want them to stay as strong as they can be. If they're gonna interfere, then we'll fix it. Ow, that's hot. Oh, that's very hot. We can make it at least look a little prettier. Oh, this is cheating. What do we think? Can we actually put this together properly? Quite the sequence of events to get this thing together here. Come on, buddy. Come on, there we go. This is probably easier to assemble on the bench and then attach as one piece. But I think we got it. That's a pretty tall shifter, dude. Holy. Where's your home, buddy? Okay, this. Yes. Yes! Oh, you have no idea how happy this makes me to see moving again. Reverse is, there's a lockout. Okay, there's reverse. Boom! Yeah, dude! Oh my god, I'm so happy to see that move by itself. Yeah, dude! It's such a small piece of the big picture, but oh my god, I'm so happy. Alright, let's put the shift knob on. Oh, that's so cool! Ah! That is a lot taller than I thought it was gonna be. What? Oh, that's so good! Oh. No way, dude! The reality of this is just setting in. That's so cool! First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. God, that's cool. The positioning of that is so perfect. How did that work out so well? I mean, the seat's not where it needs to be yet either, but you know. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, that's so cool, dude! Well, now that the shifter is in here and mounted, I'm kind of gonna call that the end of today's video. This was a huge hurdle for me to get over. I put off welding this piece forever. I could have had this done basically since the transmission was installed, but I was too scared of the cast aluminum and aluminum in general because I was so out of practice. But the fact that it's in and functioning now is fantastic. Now the fact that this is all I did this week is a little sad. I'm getting a little low on the motivation range. Just getting the practice in to do this, and what I showed you on camera was not all the practice that I did too. And it still came out kind of meh in the end. I also spent a lot of time trying to find some pieces for the shifter. I have the 6-speed shift knob, but there's supposed to be a ring here to pull up to move your reverse lockout out of the way so you can actually get it into reverse. I got a little hyper fixated on trying to find that, and I spent like 2 days in time searching for parts. Not that it really matters because I'm probably going to end up deleting reverse lockout anyways, but that's where most of my time went, was into practice and finding parts that I probably lost a year ago. I did expect to hopefully get some of the floor built this video and at least one of the seats mounted. That's gonna have to wait till next time. The shifter is enough to make me happy. That's a huge step. With that being said though, hopefully next time you see me, we'll be getting the floor a little more built, the seats mounted in here, and then moving on to the little bits that we have left to drive the truck, like brake lines, boost tubes, intake plumbing, and whatever else. Again, sorry if it was kind of a boring one just doing a shifter. I hope you come back for more of the project, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.